Slice of lives really make you reflect on life, really, doesn't it? I've recently watched Biyori, and for some reason, it just makes me look back on my little childhood. I was born and raised in the city, and Biyori takes place in like bumfuck nowhere of rural Japan. I find very fascinating that I somehow can relate to their experiences very much. The show is overall, I mean, very great, right? I mean, the voice acting is amazing. The background that depicts every single season is just absolutely amazing. The fact that I watched the show, binge watched 36 episodes and watched the whole damn movie, and it almost feels like it never gets old. It almost feels like I'm always watching these characters in new scenarios, although they just go to the same places over and over again. It's very fascinating. But what really makes the show amazing for me, it makes me want to make a video on it, is the characters in the show, because I think that's what makes the show really stands out from like your typical slice of life in the middle of nowhere, you know? Konomi senpai is like the big Onisan of the whole show. She's like the very kind neighbor who keeps the kids in check, but you know, she's not always around. She's your neighbor. She's just an honestly good character. She sometimes teases Renge. There's this one scene where Konomi just sort of like tricked Renge and thinking that she's a yokai. It's an honestly like god tier scene. It's generally hilarious. For some reason, they decided that season 3 was gonna be based around Konomi, which I don't know why. I don't think Konomi deserves a season or most of the season just dedicated on her arc and what's her face. But hey, I'm not complaining. Konomi's not a bad character. She's just not the best. I love Hikane. Hikane is honestly just lovable. Something about this girl, right? That she's like so confident in her stupid self. And the fact that her only fucking redeeming trait is just he goes to Tokyo for high school. It's the most hilarious and greatest thing of all time. Her relationship with Natsumi is so good. Every time they do a scene together, it's honestly just magic, because these two characters, these two nut jobs, just work so well for each other. Hikane does great scenes with Renge as well. Hikane is just honestly a good supporting character in this whole show. Now, Hikane is great, but I wanna fuck Kazune. I have bad taste in women, and if you can't tell it from just watching some of my videos, I'll tell you upright, I do not have good taste in women. When a woman has a major alcoholic problem, is just a terrible human being in general, terrible adult role model, I love her even more. And Kazune is that. Kazune is the mother of the whole series. Although Renge actually has like biological mother that's still alive, but we never see them. So it just really comes down to Kazune being this awesome mother. And she is great, man. She is truly the definition of waifu material. And she's like 24, which is like close to my age. So it's sort of like, it's a win-win scenario. Kazune is just a fun time. One of the most underrated moments that revolves around Kazune is that when she was rowing, right, in the Okinawa movie, and she just looks so fucking cheerful with her little smile and little peace sign with her little stupid fisherman hat. That's just the cutest fucking frame of all time. Kazune is an S-tier waifu, bro, and don't fucking question me about it. Dagashiya, or Kaede, is this blonde rash girl, right, who's very tsundere with her love towards Renge. Kaede sort of is this big sister for Renge. The relationship that they have is very sweet. Kaede almost puts this like adult front towards Renge. Kaede is not necessarily this amazing role model either. She's not necessarily rich. She's not necessarily successful. But what she is, she just takes care of Renge, man. Renge sort of sees her in this very similar role as well. The scene that I think depicts it best is when Renge is trying to learn how to ride the bike. Renge decides that, you know what, I'm gonna try to ride my bike. And Kazune is not helping me out, so I'll go to Dagashiya. She'll like help me out. Dagashiya is like, hey, I gotta take care of the store, but you know, you could just go front and back in front of the shop and I'll look after you. Dagashiya just feels fucking awful about this, right? Because she could hear that Renge is like, you know, falling down, but she keeps on getting up and she just keeps on trying the whole day. And by the end of the day, Dagashiya goes out and then sees Renge with like a bunch of like blisters in her knees. One of these days, Dagashiya has decided that, you know what, I'm gonna close up the shop, and I'm like, she's just gonna spend the whole day teaching Renge how to bike. There's this moment, right? Renge keeps on biking, and you know, the typical moment he just releases and Renge keep on going. I fucking cried in that scene, man. There's very little slice of life animes that made me cry. Lucky Star's scene where Konada's mother came back, that's one. The scene just after K-on's last performance, that's another. And this, Renge just growing up in front of Kaie's eyes, just biking, and that scene is just perfect. It just shows the relationship is just so beautiful. Now speaking of beautiful, we go to Hotaru. Hotaru makes me decide that maybe I'm a pedophile inside, you know? Holy crap, dude. You know, for the longest time, right, I'm a big sports guy. And when you're a big sports guy, you want to have a son that goes up and become like an NBA star or a football star or whatever, right? I never wanted a daughter before in my life because I always feel like I do not know how to raise her, or I'll just be like treating her badly. But Hotaru is the perfect daughter, man. Holy crap. She is very composed and shows this almost adult front when it comes to just hanging out with his friends. And that's an incredible front, and that's just, that part of Hotaru is like a B tier character. But the thing that makes her an A tier character, when she hangs out with her parents, she acts even more spoiled. It's the fucking cutest thing ever. It just makes Hotaru this great and almost relatable character, man, because we all are a little bit spoiled brats in the end, right? We all act a little bit different between our parents and with our friends. And Hotaru is so fucking cute, and her body is Jesus Christ, bro. The best Hotaru scenes are when she gets teased by Konomi senpai. It's a little bit later in like season 3. Konomi senpai realizes that Hotaru is like this actual child. She's actually a 5th grader. Konomi senpai would like tease her. It's like, hey, you wanna hold hands? I don't want you to get lost. You wanna sit on my lap? It's the cutest thing ever, and Hotaru just like screams and runs away. Hotaru is great, man. I'm just telling you right now, she is an A tier character. If you imagine the perfect daughter, that would be Hotaru. Now, Hotaru has this almost concerning love towards Komari. Komari is the punching bag of the series, and we all need a punching bag in a slice of life. But Komari does her job amazingly. She is, for one, just cute little less than 5 foot middle school girl. She's the oldest in the group, but for some reason she just cannot get her comeuppance right. She just gets fucking bullied. The best scenes with Komari is obviously when she's just tumbling down in snow, or when she's just getting fucking the worst luck known to mankind, but also when she's just hanging around with Hotaru. It's the most interesting dynamic ever, because Komari is trying to put in a front that she's this wise senpai, someone that deserves to be looked up to. And Hotaru is just there to just love Komari, and whatever Komari does, right? Whether it's just her being like this actual adult, or her just showing her childish demeanor, Hotaru just loves Komari. And the fact that Komari just keeps on trying to like prove to Hotaru that she's worth being impressed by, it's great. It's just an awesome dynamic. Komari has a little sister, Natsumi. If you don't like tomboys, you do not have a good taste in women.
I have bad taste in women. And if you can't tell it from just watching some of my videos, I'll tell you upright, I do not have good taste in women.
Now, you might be saying, hey, liking a tomboy,
He's kinda gay.
It's not gay, come on.
I don't know, man. Seems kinda gay to me.
Now let me offer a rebuttal. Fuck you. Natsumi is the greatest character in Nonon Biyori. She is the sole reason why this show does anything. If Natsumi doesn't exist in Nonon Biyori, if we just delete her, Thanos just erase Natsumi's existence from the village, a show would not exist. The drama won't exist, half of the scenes won't exist. It will just be a very calming show. But no, Natsumi is this spice that makes the whole show great. Natsumi is just an amazing girl, man. Although she's this rash and actual spoiled brat of a character, the scenes where she's actually acting like a middle school girl, the greatest scenes of all time. The Okinawa spin-off movie mainly focuses on Natsumi and this girl, Aoi. See, the problem with living in bumfuck nowhere Japan is that there's not a lot of people you're hanging around with that is the same age that you are. This is a big problem for two characters, Renge and Natsumi. Natsumi cannot find anyone that she just is level-headed to. Komari obviously tries to act like a grown adult, but is actually acting like a fucking 2-year-old. Renge acts like this sage. Hotaru acts like a 20-year-old. Essentially, Hikage is the only character that Natsumi can relate to in a personal basis. We meet another character that Natsumi could relate to, Aoi, in the OVA. The fact that Natsumi finds someone her age and is just so excited to the point where she is like nervous about the idea, it's wholesome, man. And there's nothing cuter in this world, right, than a tomboy that's blushing. Another perfect scene that sort of gave a little tear in my eye is when at the end of the movie, Natsumi is very sad at leaving Aoi to the point where her goodbye was just a wave, right? And Renge comes back, it's like, hey Natsumi, I don't think you want to end it like this. Natsumi goes back and just be like, hey, I'll show you a picture of my school. Without context, who the fuck cares, right? I don't give a fuck how your bumfuck nowhere school looks like, to be honest with you. But given the context, given that Aoi has been just showing them around and showing Aoi's little school, it's great, man. It's the perfect scene, and I think little OVA really makes Natsumi's character from like an A tier to an S tier. Now we talk about the poster girl. We talk about the reason why I watch Nonon Biyori. If you've been in this anime sphere for a while, right, you've probably seen pictures or Renge doing just whatever, right? I'm gonna tell you right now, Renge is one of the best anime characters to ever exist. She is both wise beyond her years and at the same time very, very gullible, considering that she's only like 5. She does her job very well. Whether she's the main character for this certain scene or whether she's just a support character, everything that she touches literally turns to gold. I've talked a little bit about the relationship between Renge and Dagashiya, but it's not the only relationship that Renge just excelled on. There's this relationship with Honoka. Honoka is this girl that occasionally comes to this bumfuck nowhere rural village just to visit her grandmother. Renge struggles to just be in line with any of the other girls. Obviously, these other girls are very, very much older than Renge. And Honoka is actually her age. The fact that they could relate to each other so well, it's an honestly great time. The show even gives us a jab at it when Honoka leaves out of nowhere, and we see the only time that Renge cries is when Honoka leaves. That's the thing with Renge, more so than other characters. We see her as a person grow up through this 1 year timeline. There's a couple of scenes that come in mind when I think of Renge growing up, but the best one, I feel, the last scene of the whole entire series. Renge is trying to comfort Shiori, this girl who her mother just went into labor, right? By the end of the episode, Renge goes to school with Shiori and at the same time sees Shiori's little sister. It just grows to show that she is growing up. She's not the youngest character now in the whole series. She now needs to take care of these two kids. it's a very, very heartwarming moment. I think that's what Nonon Biyori does great at, defining life. Nonon Biyori is by definition a slice of life. That slice that we get between all of these characters living in bumfuck nowhere rural Japan is just a great look at life.